How you doing? Cold morning here. We're gonna put a timing chain in a Scion 2005 with a 1.5 in it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the plastic cover over the head. Has about let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 number 10 or 10 millimeter bolts. We're going to get them off first, get that off, and start digging down in there. Okay, now we got the plastic cover off. We're going to unplug the wiring harness, which is there's a plug here. We'll probably take all the power or the packs off for the spark plugs. Then we'll remove this. Got to undo these plastic clips and try to get this up out of the way. Also a hose here we're going to unhook, lift that off to get the valve cover off. Well, now we got all the coil packs off, and now we're going to remove these valve cover bolts all the way, which are 10 millimeter. There's one there, around there, there's one down in here, couple across the back, and in the corner over here. We're going to pull the valve cover off now. Okay, now we got the valve cover off and the two cams exposed so we can see the top part of it. What we did now is we backed up. We took the front wheel off. There's a plastic pan under here that got about 6 bolts in it. If you can see them right here, we removed them down so that you can see the bottom crank pulley. Get a light over here so you can see the crank and stuff. We're going to go ahead and put the motor in time before we tear it apart, and that consists of lining up the timing marks on the crank and the 2 top cam shafts. We get them lined up, we'll point them out. Okay, we've been turning the motor over here. We've got the chain and the motor in top dead center on timing. You can see the 2 orange on this chain, they're orange links, and then the timing marks on the cam. There's a line here and a dot on the inside that lines up with on the back here with these marks here on the head that you can see here. Now we're learning on this thing too. Never done one. We're old Chevy men, so we're learning. Now if you look down in here, which I don't know whether you can see the, oh no, I can't see nothing. Down in there on the crank pulley, there's the timing mark is right at top dead center, and not a good picture, I can't show it to you. What we found out though is that instead of it being 2-to-1 far as like the old Chevys, you have to turn this motor over 3 or 4 or 6 times past the timing marks to get it all lined up. It won't line up every other one, so we're learning too. So that's where we're at now. Okay, what we've done now, we're removing the motor mount. I'm pulling it up out of here so you can see. There's 2 bolts there that go to the motor, and then 3 bolts that go down to the body. And there's also 1 bolt on the bottom side that you have to go up from the bottom to get. So and it's hard to see, and it won't come off without it. So there we go on that. We got the motor mount loose. Let's put that over there on the bench. And you look down in there, you can see where we're starting to get opened up a little bit. The next thing is this bracket right here. It needs to be taken off. We'll show you where the bolts is at once we get that out of the way. Now we've also already taken the alternator bracket and the alternator belt off. Plus we took the cam sensor thing here off. The book we had said to remove it to keep from damaging it, so it's placed right here. We went ahead and took it out. Well, note on one thing we did put we put a floor jack under the oil pan there, and something that makes the job a lot easier. On a lot of the bolts and stuff on the top side, we raised the motor as high as possible, made it a lot easier to get into the bolts. And now that we're going down to do the pull the crankshaft pulley off, which is right there, We've let the motor down as far as we can without, you know, breaking anything or pulling any lines or wires off, but it exposes the bolts better so that you can get into them.
Get me a bolt in it.
Okay, well, next thing we're going to do before we can take the bracket off the motor is the water pump pulley has to come off. We've let the motor down so that you can get to them from the bottom easier. I've already taken 2 of the bolts out. They're 10 millimeter. I'm going for the last one. Now the book shows that you need a tool to hold it, but if you have a good air ratchet like this, and then there, that's got it out. You don't even have to have anything to hold it. We'll give him the bolt. We'll back up here a little bit, reach in there. That gets the pulley out of the way so that there's one last bolt up in there that you can see that holds that bracket on, which let me get my hand up here.